Hello Bookish friends, welcome to another Bookish Talk video. In this video, I'm going to talk about my adventures in audiobooking and how I gradually increased my consumption of books through audio. I actually first about the term audiobooks many years ago when I was doing my master's degree. At that time there were cassette tapes and the audiobooks were lent to the blind people and especially blind university students. I joined a social project of being a volunteer to read one of the textbooks of such a student to the cassette. Even though I thought I was not a very good reader, it was great to see the gratitude of the student when I gave that cassette of the textbook to her. It was one of the most memorable days of my life. And then many years later, the consumption of audiobooks became available to almost everybody. With the emergence of smartphones, many applications appeared in Turkey as well. Even though I was an avid reader, because I'm mostly a visual learner, I thought I was very bad at audio learning, and thought that I would not succeed in understanding the books through audio. I never had the courage to try those applications. I first downloaded audiobook applications that features books in the free domain. As most of you know, the narrators are not professional. They are volunteers like myself, of course, with the exception of a very few, they were not very good. Unless I could not find that book in ebook format, I actually never used such applications. And very interestingly, because Turkish is my native language, the unsuccessful narrators bothered me so much more in the Turkish Classics, which are on the public domain. So I listened to 4 or 5 books at most in a year. And then the pandemic happened, and one of the applications that I've heard the most became 60 days free in that very hard and trying times. Because I was still working full-time in those days, I really needed to keep my mind busy with fiction. Even at 10 minutes walk, I needed to get away from the facts at that time. That's why I wanted to use the 60-day free trial period in that application. But I started listening to middle grade classics in English, as well as some contemporary books in Turkish. Because, as you can guess, it is much more easier to listen to a book in your own language. After I decided to keep Storytel, because there is no limit to downloading or listening to the books as long as I pay the monthly fee, which is very economical. I started downloading the books that I've heard from the videos. I started listening more and more books. I could listen almost any genre in Turkish. But for English adult books, I took a step-by-step method regarding genres. After middle grade classics that I've talked about previously, I started listening to mystery and romance books, which are my comfort genres, and they are easier for me to understand. And then I added the genre thriller, because thrillers are fast-paced books, and if you're hooked in the audio, you just want to keep listening. So it was also a suitable genre for my audiobook experience. After thriller, I added one of my favorite genres to the mix, which is historical fiction. And of course started with shorter historical fiction works. Even though it is one of my least read genres, I also listened to some horror books in the last year through audio. And because they were also gripping, I think horror was also a suitable genre for me. So I can say that my audiobook learning, which was at a very low level about 3 years ago, increased very much through experience, like most of the things in life. But I still struggle to understand some genres, and I think I need more experience to read those genres as well. The first one is fantasy. Fantasy is a genre that I like very much if I can get into it. But it is the genre that takes me the most amount to get into. I really do like sci-fi books, but sometimes scientific terms can get lost through the listening experience for me. And very interestingly, the genre that I struggle the most is nonfiction, with the exception of biographies. So maybe my initial assessment of having a very bad audio learning level was not very wrong. Or maybe, like fantasy and science fiction, I still need time to easily listen and understand nonfiction books too. To sum it up, although most of my reading is done through ebooks, audiobooks became a part of my life in a short period of only 3 years. I shared my experience with you because I thought maybe some of you might want to try audiobooks, but feel that you would not understand through listening like I initially did. Maybe you might create your own gradual step-by-step method to get into audiobooks following my example. Of course, it would be different for you because I'm guessing your favorite genres would be much more different. So this was my story of Audiobookish adventures. Please comment down below. Did you also have a similar experience when getting into audiobooks? If you're a new viewer, first of all, welcome. Please like and subscribe. Hope to see you very soon. Bye. As for Turkish word of the day, I'm going to choose learning. Learning means öğrenmek in Turkish, and öğrenmek is our Turkish word of the day. Have a good day.